What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to United View. Welcome to your daily dose of Man United transfer news. It's all starting to hot up. There's loads of stuff to talk about. Me and Owen are going to take you through it. This morning, we're going to be talking about Pau Torres, his latest links to Manchester United. Supposedly, his agents are coming over to England to thrash out a deal. There's a lot of talk there with Villarreal's Pau Torres for 50 million, or the best part of 50 million. We're hearing 42. Some are saying 43. Some are reporting 50. It's all very up in the air. So we're going to depict them rumors, okay? Because that's what they are. They're rumors. And talk about the latest stuff with Pau Torres and Eric Ten Hag search for a centre-back. Talk about Jesse Lingard as well. West Ham. I mean, he's not even our player anymore. He's just
weird,
a player that's just out there.
Yeah. Whenever you hear those ones now, you just got to go, okay.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. But also, I want to talk about the knock-on effect that this could have on a Jurriën Timber deal as well. That's interesting to get into, because if some reports are true and they're saying that Eric Ten Hag wants to go all out to sign Pau Torres, where does that leave Jurriën Timber? Could we get both? So, let's get into it. Owen, well, first of all, you lot smash a like on the video, subscribe if you lot are new to the channel, and remember, 100k subscriber party. First birthday party, 19th of June, London's O2, Tucker Social. Links are in the video description below for your ticket. So make sure you lot grab that. We want to see as many of you there as possible. If you live local to London or you fancy traveling into London, maybe not from internationals like super far, but you live in England and you fancy traveling, then yeah, would love to see as many of you there as possible. So links are in the video description below. Make sure you guys get that. Oh, and Pau Torres.
Yes.
Some reports from Marca, obviously big reputable outlet in Spain, saying Manchester United are willing to pay 50 million to sign Pau Torres. Eric Ten Hag would like a new ball-playing centre-back and wants Pau Torres at all costs. United are the team pushing strongest to get him. That's number one. The Mirror have said Red Devils eye 43 million Pau Torres deal. You've also got the Daily Express saying Pau Torres agents will travel to Manchester United this week to negotiate the transfer. So a lot of noise, not just from Spain, but some of the big domestic outlets here in the UK. Thoughts?
Well, we certainly need a centre-back. I mean, if you start there, we definitely need a centre-back. We definitely need not only a centre-back, but a centre-back that's good on the ball, which Pau Torres is, a ball-playing centre-back. Now, I know some people were saying Lindelof's good with his feet. He's the ball-playing centre-back, but we do need a massive improvement there. And also as well, I think you can look at, irrespective of how Eric Ten Hag wants to play or the style of play he has this in his system, you just look at Manchester United over the last season, our defence fundamentally is not good enough. There needs to be major reinforcements there. That was one of maybe the biggest sort of thing that stood out to me on Sunday is when the starting lineup comes out, and during the game, I'm looking at that back four. I'm looking at Dalot, Telles, Maguire, Lindelof, and I just thought, we ain't winning nothing with that kind of back four. And I know you could say, well, Varane's out and all that kind of stuff, but even if, and we've seen it, even when you put Varane in that back four, we're still winning nothing with that back four. So it needs major surgery. So is Pau Torres the answer? I mean, you never know, to be honest. I'm not going to be, I know you've got your opinions on him. I haven't seen enough games to be like, oh, I really like him, or I don't really like him, because you can judge it off the European adventure that Villarreal have been on the last two seasons, not just this season, last season as well. Of course, we played him in the final of the Europa League, and you could see parts of that and say, well, he played very well. He scored, was it against Juventus when they knocked them out? So you could look at that and say quality play. We were linked with him last year, but also at the same time, where were Villarreal in the league this season? La Liga, were they 10th or something like that?
I think, yeah.
So it's difficult to judge, because on European form, you'd say absolutely get him. On domestic form, you would say, well, I don't know. But that's not necessarily just his fault, of course. Unai Emery, of course, is very strict on his centre-backs being able to play with the ball around the back, play in tight spaces at the back, come out with the ball. So you could say that does fit into what Eric Ten Hag will want. I see people making a point that he's a shorter centre-back as well, along with Timber. Is that going to be a problem? Is he going to have the physicality required for the Premier League? Those are all questions for any transfers, frankly. It's always every transfer is always a risk. But look, if Eric and we again goes back to backing the manager.
on.
If Eric Ten Hag says, "I want Pau Torres at all costs," give him Pau Torres.
Yeah, I mean he's 6'2". He's 190 meters, I think. Or 1.1
Oh, so he's
190
not
meters.
short then. Yeah,
He's not that short. Yeah, I'm just looking
Yeah.
at how short he is. He says he's 1.91 meters. It says, which he's like 6'2". So he's not that
Yeah.
short. He looks quite slight, like
Yeah.
he looks quite slender. AWB says, I don't want Pau Torres. Monkey says, Pau Torres is Spanish Lindelof. And Chinmaya says, are we going for 2 centre-backs now? Does that mean 2 centre-backs gone? It does. That's what I mean. It does pose a lot of questions of what this means. What we'll talk about the Timber situation, how it may affect that in a sec. But just, with the Pau Torres thing, I know I said 190 meters. It's crazy.
Tall guy.
Yeah, he's off the chart. He's like, exactly.
Let's me call him in short. 190 meters. He's actually the tallest man alive. Interesting.
1.9 or 190 centimeters for the people who are doing the metrics. You know what I mean? But he's 6'2"-ish. Anyway, basically the myth that he's really short and not that tall is a bit of a myth. He looks neat and tidy on the ball. He's played okay. I've had my eye on him most, obviously, when we've played against Villarreal over the last couple of years. And he's looked okay. He looked okay against us in the final and last year. And then we played him twice this year, didn't we? And he's nice on the ball. He looks tidy and neat. I don't get it. I don't have the.
I was going to say, what was I think the best way to describe it is when you saw those reports last night saying we're linked to Pau Torres. What was your initial first reaction? Didn't even have to think about it. Initial reaction.
It was like, but I'm getting Timber. He's the one giving me the vibes. Like I thought, I don't want that to go quiet. Like Pau Torres, I thought we was going to get him last year and it just fizzled out. Like, but then also as a fan, and that's what we are. We're fans. That's what we do, though, isn't it? Like what we get fed as the main thing, because the Timber thing it's fresh. It's just come from Ten Hag. He's put that video up thanking the Ajax fans. We've had a lot of strong talks about Timber recently. We like the look of him. 19, strong, powerful. He can play at right back as well. He's just the flavour of the week, isn't he? Very much so that Manchester United fans, a lot of us, I can't say all, can't speak for a full fan base, but a lot of us have been like, Timber, come with Ten Hag, that'll be wicked.
It's Ten Hag and Timber, isn't it? It's the relationship. It's, what they've done at Ajax. But here's the curveball, though, Flex. Maybe Torres is the centre-back. Maybe Timber's the right-back.
Yeah,
we know we're going for a full-back.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I haven't seen Timber play full-back loads. I know he can play there and does play that, can also play and has played there. When I've seen him at centre-back. So it'd be interesting to actually maybe speak to some of the guys that we took Ajax and just Ajax fans in general to see what he's actually like at right back. And you guys in the community, if anyone's seen him be playing right back on a consistent basis with a big sample size, what's he been like? Has he spent most of his time at centre half because that's his best position? Can he just fill in there? Is he another John O'Shea? Can he do a job at centre back? Can he do a job at centre mid? Can he do a job at right back? Can he do a job at left back? I mean, there's not many John O'Shea's about the place.
No.
But is he more of between right back and centre back? He's equally as good, or would it be a case of no, we need specialists in our position, so let's see where he gets. So I'll be interested in that because I don't know enough about Timber at right back. I'll be honest, I don't know.
No, and also as well, we've almost got a bit of a reputation at United at this point of buying players and then just playing them horrendously out of position, or in a position where it's like they can do a job, but we don't get the best out of them because we don't play them where they're really supposed to be playing. Whether it is people like Wamata, right? Wamata leaving this summer, and we go, if we'd have actually played him where he was meant to play as a 10 for the entirety of his career. And I know that's a big comparison to make to like Timber, but the point is that we have signed players in the past. Even people like Sancho say, we signed Sancho as a right winger when he's a left winger.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We signed Donny van de Beek, not really knowing actually where are we going to play him. For Ajax, he was more of a 10 or an 8. And we're going, maybe he can be a bit of a 6. We're trying to, that's what United do. Yeah. So with Timber, we could sign him and be like, no, he's going to be our right back. And people are like, isn't he going to play centre back? Isn't that why you signed him? No. We've signed Pau Torres for that. So Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully that kind of time of United buying people and then just fitting them in is over. But you never know. You never, like with all of that kind of transfer stuff this summer. Yes, there is room for some kind of cautious optimism because there are different people involved in all of this, but it's still a case of having to see it to believe it.
Yeah, I mean the positive is that the link to these centre halves. We need them. People are saying in the comments there, we need to get rid of two. We've got a lot of centre backs at the club. I absolutely think that will happen. I think Eric Bailly's gone. I think Phil Jones is gone. Short, you would imagine. I mean, if Phil Jones does stay again, he won't be playing. It might just be.
Yeah, I mean,
he just couldn't
not
find
even with
place,
the Bailly thing as well. Not only was because he's not been playing, but also with some of those reports that were coming out yesterday of some of his clashes he was having with Ralph Rangnick.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense why Eric Bailly wasn't playing.
Yeah,
when people were going,
definitely something wrong.
Yeah, when people go, why isn't Eric Bailly playing? And then the story came out. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Samuel Lucas was saying that. There was that bizarre time where he was going to the Africa Cup of Nations and he flew out and then he came back, but
they recalled him.
Involved. It was because he was in a different place than he was supposed to be, and then he came back and he came back late. And Ralph Rangnick sort of shouted at him in front of the entire squad, and by all account, that upset Bailly and some other people of the squad. And I'm reading that at the time, and again, whether or not you believe it to be true or accurate or parts of it are whatever, but hypothetically, if it was true, I would. But why, if you're Eric Bailly, why would you be? He shouted at me in front of everyone. Did you follow the rules? No. You shouted at them.
That's like the basic principles of getting told off by the teacher.
Yeah.
Did you listen to instructions? Did you break the rules?
Did you do your homework? Okay. No, I didn't. No, I didn't do the homework. So they shouted at you in front of the class. Yeah, we shouldn't have shouted at me in front of the class. But did you do your homework? No. Well, what are we talking about then?
Yeah. It's bullshit. I mean, there's been so many of those types of stories just coming out. It's just been one after the other.
Let's not even get started on the Ten Hag body language stuff. Let's not even go there. Oh my goodness.
This is why football Twitter, honestly, is just it can be a great place, for great communities to grow and interact with fans across the world, like-minded fans, and you can meet some great people on Twitter, and people can express amazing, love towards you and big you up and stuff like that. But the other side of it is absolutely horrendous. From whether it's abuse and racism, homophobia, all that, discrimination, whether it's that right through to absurd stupidity, like just lies and stupidity.
I like that said that Ten Hag body language thing yesterday. Like, I get it, right? His name's in terms of how it works. His name's out there. He did the press conference. If you put Ten Hag in an article, people read it. But you also have to fill. You also have to fill the article with something of substance. To say that Ten Hag lacks a clear plan because he maybe had his arms crossed. I mean, what are we? And they go. Well, he came off very cold. He shook everyone's hand. He shook it. It took the journalists by surprise. Some of them didn't even stand up. They were so shocked. And afterwards, they were going, "Oh yeah, I should have stood up." And they're going, "Very, very cold of him." What do you mean cold of him?
And then another journalist, I think he works at Sky Sports, was moaning, basically saying, when Ten Hag did that to Gary Cottrell, he was like, it takes 2 seconds just to smile and get people on side and take some pictures and all of this and all of that. And he's like, well, did you not see? He was outside Old Trafford, just walking in, taking pictures with fans that same day. Just before he tells Gary Cottrell to move, well, he doesn't actually say it. He was taking some pictures with fans. He starts the press conference. People just want to nitpick. They just want to find the negativity right from the off because that's what sells. And that's what we were saying. We have to be ready for it. We have to protect against that.
100%. And let's be honest, that was after a game where he was walking to a car. Nobody has a divine right for you. You don't have to respond to anyone when you're in that setting. You don't. You could argue you're out in public, you're fair game. That's fine. But you don't have to respond. When you're in a press conference, you're there to talk to journalists. That's the whole point of you being there. That's the difference in that kind of situation. I mean, I know he's a Man United manager, public scrutiny and all that kind of stuff. But if you're walking to your car and you've just been in the country like a week and this guy runs at you with a microphone going, all right. You could be like, all right.
And also, Man United already had... Basically, this is it's like trying to talk to the man and him say anything before he's even addressed the fan base, as in officially through our our interview, which came out yesterday at 10:30, that was planned. So after the Crystal Palace game, which was a shit show on Sunday, they knew that at 10:30, Ten Hag's going to be unveiled for the first time, and then at 12 o'clock he's going to speak to the media. Why should Gary Cottrell get specialist treatment as to get the first words out of him? And that's what it is, entitlement. Do you know what I mean?
And also,
I always talk about entitlement.
It's like the Ronaldo conversation yesterday, isn't it? I speak to Ronaldo before I speak to you. It's like, well, I'll speak to everyone before I talk to you, kind of situation, right?
Exactly.
And that's just what it is. But you kind of just got to be, like you said, I know it's par for the course and all that kind of stuff, and it is what it is. But I just thought that was crazy yesterday.
Gary Cottrell does make me laugh though. He's funny. He's don't push me. You're live on television. There's evidence.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why you never see you never see any pushing in a football match, do you? Especially when it's live on television. Never ever. They go like that, and then they go, oh, we're on TV. Oh, put my hands down. Put my hands down.
Oh, you can't. No, God loves a tryer, mate. You can't knock Gary Cottrell. At least he tries. He's funny. He's funny. But yeah, back to the Pau Torres thing. I think it's interesting. He is a good ball playing centre half. Let's big him up a little bit. Let's not be have our blinkers on. From what I have seen, like I said, he looks good on the ball. He looks confident on the ball. He can bring the ball out. Not super quick, but he looks like he reads the game well enough to be in the right positions. Decent in the air. Left-footed centre back as well. It's about time we have one of them. Yeah, exactly. Rarity. So, there could be something in it. And if he does come or it does materialize, we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. I just hope it doesn't affect the Timber deal. We could be in for a real treat, but if he's 50 million, we're saying Timber would be what? 35.
Yeah.
That's 85 gone already out of the so-called 140 pot without any sales, which could rise to 200. So, and if you think about those two players, they're exactly the type of players that meet in this new threshold that we're going for, which is, as Ralph would say, the players who want to take the next logical step in their careers, players you can turn into something. They're young, they're advancing, and it's the next tier of their career. Timber and Pau Torres fall into that young up and coming centre backs.
Yeah, exactly. So, and also as well, I mean, he played a lot in the Euros, didn't he, last year for Spain? He was their starting centre back. I do recall, I did say earlier that I wasn't going to make any snap judgments, but I do recall, I can't remember who it was against, but Spain conceded a goal that he was definitely at fault for, and it was a bit of a stinker. But again, that happens. That does happen, 100%. So I'm not going to make too big a judgment. So maybe the positive to take out of it is, like you said, it's not as if he's a bad player, but certainly the positive is that if we weren't going for a centre back and we were like, no, it's fine, we don't need centre backs, that would be a cause for concern, right?
Yeah.
And if Erik ten Hag wants him, back the manager.
Yeah, that is it. Back the manager. We have to talk about fitting into the mold that we want to start going for, and all we've been linked to so far is those types. But these are links. These aren't transfers. This is very early. The window's still not even open yet, but we're heading into that period where it's really going to start hotting up. But it's a positive thing. But we were linked to Pau Torres all last year. I remember it, like all last year, and then it just fizzled out. He ended up staying. They're talking about they won't ask for the release clause, etc. Things change within 12 months. I get that. But I do remember being, linked with him for a while, and it just didn't happen. Nina Niankililu, I think I've pronounced that right. Sorry if I haven't. What's your thoughts on Bergwijn for 20 million? Not having Bergwijn.
I did see that yesterday. I can't remember if it was anyone super reputable, but that's not the first time that it's come up. I think it stems from when Ten Hag was the Ajax manager. He was really interested in signing Bergwijn. It didn't happen. Look, he's not playing a lot at Spurs. I think that maybe some people's eyes got opened once again when he did that madness against Leicester this season. And that was a madness, And he looked back on it now, considering Spurs got top 4. Talk about a key moment.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And look, we've a million times in the Premier League, we've seen players that barely play at a club or don't play that often, or maybe don't work out at a club, and then they go to another club and they're world beaters. I'm not saying Bergwijn would be that at United. I would have reservations, certainly, because Is he really what we're looking for? I don't know. We got a lot of players in positions that he plays, right? And I don't know if that's really the best position. But again, look, and I'm going to repeat myself a million times here, probably over the summer. If Ten Hag goes, I need Steven Bergwijn.
Oh, it's a big shout. It's a big shout.
Well, if he says I need
Oh,
Steven,
it's true though.
well,
Yeah.
but if he says I need Steven Bergwijn,
Yeah.
and we're talking 20 million,
Yeah.
it's not a ton of money.
No.
You know?
No, it's not.
And you never know. I'm not going to be that negative person this summer.
No, you can't. You got to get. No, I was just thinking. I was just processing what you're saying, and you know what? It's we're in that territory, innit? And
I'm
this
not
is what
saying
I
I would
said.
agree with it.
Yeah. But
I'm not saying I would do the deal myself. I'd be like,
yeah,
if I was in charge, or
yeah.
you know, I'd be like, oh. But
it wouldn't fill you with complete optimism.
No.
But like you said, we're in that kind of free space where the easiest thing to say with anyone who arrives is, well, if Ten Hag wants him, I'll have to have a look. I'll have to, you know, that's just what we all have to say, because I just think we're in no place. We all wanted Verratti. I say we, you know, people might say, well, you did, Flex. No, I didn't. But just let's just go off the general consensus. We all thought it was a fantastic signing.
Oh
bargain,
yeah, look at the reaction he got when he came out of Old Trafford. That first game of the season.
Everyone was really happy. Sancho, you know, 120 million. We didn't get him. We waited, got him for 77 or 73. We all thought that was amazing. Obviously, bringing Ronaldo back, obviously he has been good himself. But I'm just saying, you know, there's been a lot of signings that we wanted. Even when we got Wan-Bissaka and when we got bloody Harry Maguire, I remember the whole fan base being like, "Yeah, wicked," including me. Like,
I remember being very excited specifically about Wan-Bissaka. Like at the time, I remember thinking, you know, because he had basically a good season at Palace, young, right back, and you thought, oh, this is good. United trying to sign someone on the ascendancy, and didn't work out.
No, and it doesn't always work out, and that's the key. I just feel like if we get into this, oh, but this guy's shit. Why do you want him? You know. That's a dangerous position to be in, because we've got a new manager with a whole new set of ideas. How on earth do we know who's going to fit his style and who's not going to fit his style? You know, we do have to wait. A lot of people are mentioning Darwin Núñez in the comments I can see. Look, there was that report last week that he turned us down because we're not in Champions League. Then it was a report of, you know, the money behind it.
Yeah, there was no one saying, well, no, he hasn't made his mind up at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Truth is, no one knows.
No, exactly.
Truth is that's gone a bit quiet. And I think, as what happens in the transfer window early on, you get the pool of names, don't you? You get the sort of 4 or 5 names that are the main names. So it's been De Jong, it's been Timber, it's been Torres, it's been Núñez. That's 4. Who's the 5th? You could argue that, and what's his face? After Núñez, what's his name again? Anthony.
Yeah.
That's kind of been the 5 that have been most, do you know what I mean, in and about the place. Then some other stuff will start happening where it's like, oh, where did he come from? Oh, we haven't even been linked with him, and bang, we've signed him. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit like that when Telles signed. It just kind of happened.
I mean, also as well, you tend to find it was like it in January earlier this year that
in Kunku's
there is basically a group of players that are seemingly available, and they all end up going to their various places in the end. Like you said, there was like January. Zakaria got linked with him. Alvarez got linked with him.
Zakaria.
Yeah.
Camavinga was all last year.
Yeah, last season. And they do end up going. So there's always this list of players that are being sort of farmed out to everyone. And eventually they do go to places.
That's just that Man United never get them.
So I'm sure that, you know, these players that we're being linked to, in addition to other clubs, because with the Frankie de Jong one, now it's like PSG might want him or Man City might want him. I'm sure Frankie de Jong will probably leave Barcelona this summer. You know, once your name's been touted out there enough, chances are he's going to probably leave. Do I think he's going to go to Man United? I said a couple of times I'm really not confident on that.
What did you make of PSG being involved and some other?
It's game over. But if PSG are interested, but the point is, because the reason I said that, it's the same way I said I thought I could see him going to Man City, because for Man City or for PSG, it's a really, really easy deal for them to do. He wants Champions League football. Barcelona want money. They've both got that tick in both boxes. PSG, Man City, both in the Champions League, both got a load of money. So that's an easy deal for them to do. For us, it's a really hard deal for us to do. Yeah, we've got money, but we don't have Champions League. He really wants Champions League. So the only way we get Frankie de Jong is Ten Hag just pulls a complete madness and really goes on the charm offensive. And ultimately, we spend a lot of money. And not the money to buy him from Barcelona, but we spend money on his contract. So I would have concerns about that. Obviously, he's a great player. He would improve us. But I think for other clubs, it's an easier deal for them to do. And I could just see it as being one that we work on and work on and work on. And we try really hard. And a team like Man City or PSG can swoop in because it's just so easy for that deal to be done. And then they take him away. So I'm not confident on that one.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that keeps us hope is Eric Ten Hag. That's the biggest bargaining chip we have. You know, it's worrying to keep hearing the noise that he doesn't want to come because he wants to stay at Barca, he wants Champions League. But then, as Man United has an option to that of not being in the Champions League, it's did Barca make Champions League? They did, didn't they?
Yeah, they finished second.
Yeah, finished second after all of that. Bloody hell. You know, you then worry, but then you got your trump card. You've got Eric Ten Hag. That's going to be the key, you know. But I'm with you on that, Owen. That was the one. It just sounds a bit flat now. Can't see it, but it can all change though really quickly. It can change really quickly, as we know. But I'm not so sure. WJ Barrett said, "I'm so optimistic. I'm saying yes to every signing. This club, man. I'm backing every decision that Eric Ten Hag wants. We're so in the mud. How can we all disagree?" Super chat of the day. I'm with you, bro. With you, WJ Barrett. Like the club is so broke. The squad is so finished. The squad is so decimated that it's like, how could you question anything or anyone who wants to change any one of them for anyone? Do you know what I mean? So,
and also yesterday with the press conference, it must be said, and you do have to catch yourself, because I was doing it yesterday when you see the pictures of him around Old Trafford, or you see the pictures of him shaking the hands of all of the Man United staff and people that, you know, just like the cooks or whoever. And you do get excited, and he talks about City, Liverpool, and he goes, well, all eras have to come to an end. And you're like, oh, yeah. And you do have to catch yourself, because you're like, oh, we haven't even seen a game yet. These are just words. But because the season has been so bad, we're so desperate for any kind of joy, anything that can make us smile, or anything that we can latch onto and go, oh, that's exciting. Or I feel good about that, because we have had nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, you know, there will be this inevitable, you know, even KG was trying to be calm and collected yesterday, which is rare for him. That just goes to show how bad this season has been. KG was calm and collected yesterday. He was like, I'm not getting carried away. Yeah. But a couple of signings, a couple of preseason games, going to be tough. That's going to be tough. It's the first preseason game against Liverpool as well. That's the one in Thailand, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the one in Bangkok, yeah.
Imagine we win that, like, convincingly. imagine we win that convincingly. It's like 4-0, and we play total football, Ten Hag ball. Can you imagine what would happen?
It's I think obviously to make predictions on a preseason game, this in general is wild. But since let's have some fun, I predict that we lose that game, but we see some little bits of like, oh, look, you could see they were trying to do this, or they were trying to do that. Or do you predict like exactly the same? Because that will be their first ever game. So even if it was exactly the same, you can't be like, oh, it's fucking still shit. It's just a game in Thailand. Like,
it means absolutely zero. It really does mean nothing, does it? I mean, like we said, Louis van Gaal, his first preseason, and he's probably one of the best preseasons you'll ever see.
Ever.
He beat everyone.
Flawless. Yeah.
He won that international trophy thing, beat Real Madrid in a stadium full of 100,000 people. And then we go to lose our first game of the season. So, but my point is that there is going to be so much analysis or scrutiny on that first game, because if we see United playing out from the back successfully, that's a win. If we see, you know, a nice goal, that's a win. You know, there's going to be so much scrutiny
a well-worked goal. When we watched the Ajax game against Heerenveen, we saw so much like. I'm not putting them in the same bracket as City, but in that way of because even Ten Hag said it in his first press conference, in his first interview. I want my team. We're at Manchester United. They want us to play good football, amazing football, entertaining football. But what Ajax were doing a lot of is that build-up play. There's that build-up, patient, get to the byline, cut back goal, or cut back shot saved. Just a really deliberate method of playing, like a pattern where it's like, I know how we're going to build up here. He's not going to cross that. He won't cross. He's going to wait. He's going to come back. A midfielder's going to get it. Then they're going to recycle it, go the other side, then wait for that cross along the floor. Or they're not just going to aimlessly put it in, And that's just what happens at Man United. We just never create consistent scenarios where they're identifiable by eye to say, I know what's coming next. Well, we know what's coming next, which is a shit cross. Or
we do have our own style, but it's our own really bad style, filled with flaws and mistakes. Like what's crazy, and I didn't really realize that someone posted on social media, like the goal that Crystal Palace scored against us on Sunday, with the Bruno just madness, whatever. Someone pointed out he did that exact same pass against Watford in Ollie's last game, but it led to the penalty. You remember when that one happened? It's the exact same pass. And people went like, that's crazy. Like, if that happens once in a season, you go, I don't know what he was thinking, but whatever. Yeah. Twice. Yeah. That's crazy. But that's part of the course.
Bad habits. And,
that's United.
And that not being drilled out of him and not getting absolutely grilled to say, that's not how we play here. That's what, given the free range,
the ball away to the opposition, doing an assist, a reverse assist.
That's not what we do here, bro. We don't take risks like that in that area of the pitch. And more than we keep the ball on the deck here. And on top of that, to be fair to Bruno, I can't remember the exact scenario because I didn't look at it in that much depth. But to be fair as well, it's about having players and in around you to say, well, here's a 5-yard pass, just give me it here. There could have been that in that clip. There's probably so many other things he could have done. So, but I'm just saying, it isn't just about the player in possession. It's also about the Wallies who don't know where to be when they ain't got the ball. That's the bigger problem of why we're not good. Do you know what I mean?
But even so, you just be like, mate, just put your foot through it. What are you?
100%.
What are you doing? It's so bad.
I didn't even like. How bad was McTominay in that game?
How bad was everyone in that game? Flex?
No, but I mean, I know, but McTominay was doing some mad stuff. But I don't think he completed the pass.
There was that one. I can't remember which game it was recently. It was a game at Old Trafford. It might have been even against like Brentford or someone, I forget. But where he didn't make a successful pass in the second half until like the 82nd minute.
Yeah. What game was that again? Was it? No, it wasn't Brentford. He played right in that game. It was.
That's a centre midfielder.
I think was it Brighton.
It might have been Chelsea actually. It might have
been. It was Chelsea when we drew. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, and they were like a successful pass was in the 82nd minute, and you're like, well, what have you been doing the whole game? Like, even as a centre midfielder, like I understand people go like, oh yeah, winning the ball back, but you can do a sideways 5-yard pass, can you not? Because that means basically you haven't been able to do that the entirety of that half, which is crazy. That's mad. So that's again, and that's why I go back to the Ten Hag point of pre-season. Even if we saw a half of like good possession football, we'd go crazy. Because we just haven't seen it, and you go, oh, how has he managed to get that out of some of these players? Because again, a lot of them aren't going to be around. And even he said in the press conference yesterday, this squad finished second last year, so there is potential there. And I think some people maybe have been slightly misinterpreting that somewhat. I mean, we were saying yesterday, I'm not really sure if that's completely accurate. I think the main point is him saying you can get more out of these players. They've proved it. Like, this season is not their ceiling. But the irony is that with some of these players, it really actually is. That's hence why they need to go. But we'll see. We'll see.
Just really quickly on the Jesse Lingard thing. It looks like there's talks there with West Ham. I mean,
yeah.
Do you even care? It's like, just go there. You've been twerking to go there all year. Just, you should have probably went in January or last. Just go.
I think he was always going to go, wasn't he? West Ham was always going to be the destination. I think that's the whole point of why he didn't renew his United contract, because last summer he wanted to go to West Ham, and Ollie lied and said that you're figured into the plans. But also part of it was, but also part of it was that United didn't want to sell to what they deemed to be a Champions League rival or a top 4 rival. Which look, they finished just
at that time
behind us.
Yeah.
But they finished just a point. So they were a rival for us this season.
Of course.
So why would we
we needed them to not be in the Conference League.
And who's to say? if they had Jesse Lingard, they might have beat Brighton, and we could have been in the Europa Conference League. So
Yeah.
I do understand United's point of view from that. And Lingard was always going to run his contract down, so it gave him more options of places he wants to go. I think, when you kept hearing these things about going, oh, he's interested in going abroad, and he still might go abroad, I suppose, but I think he'll go back to West Ham. That's where he's wanted to go. That's where he's liked. I mean, you spoke with Nicky a load of times from West Ham TV, and they really love Jesse Lingard, don't they? And even to the point of when Lingard scores a last-minute winner against them last season, right? They didn't. They were just like, "Oh, good, he's a good player." Told you.
Yeah, this is why we need him. Yeah, exactly.
They weren't even so super bothered about it. So he'll go back there. I'm sure he'll do fine. Again, I don't want to speculate too much on some of the stuff in like the media or what have you, but it's very clear that his situation has been an issue for like the last 12 months. I think that's probably the fairest way to say it. His whole just future not being played, the stuff on social media, that's been a constant problem. And definitely at this point, it's just not even that. Jesse Lingard's a good player, but everything else that surrounds all that doesn't balance out for me. There's an imbalance there, and it's more hassle than it's worth. So he can go to West Ham, and I'm sure he'll do fine. With the first half of the season he has there, he'll probably, I would maybe make the World Cup squad, which he'll be happy about. But whatever.
Yeah, like Raz says there, best for him and the club. Got the Kendrick Lamar album as your D's display pick. Good album. Need to listen back to that. Big up Kendrick fans. Yeah, I think Jesse just needs to happen. Just that's part of the revolution, isn't it? Getting rid of the players that come into the contracts and building. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Absolutely building.
Exactly.
Guys, smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Remember, 100k subscriber party tickets are in the link below. Check it out. And our first birthday, 19th of June. London's O2, Tocker Social, interactive football space. Going to be great vibes, music, football games, everything. And getting a chance to meet you guys in person. So make sure you guys grab your tickets. Link is in the video description below. What day does it say? It's Tuesday, so that means 6 p.m. Flex and KG show coming at you live. So we will see you guys then as well. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to everyone supporting the channel, and we will see you all again very, very soon this evening, 6 p.m. Peace.